take you through a quick and easy card making process today. To start off, I am using a die from Honey Bee, and it's a die that says shine, and I took this part of the die out of the package, and that's what we're going to be working with today. I have some adhesive to put my card together. I have 4 different colors of Memento ink that I'm going to be using, and this technique is very versatile so that you can do it with a number of different kinds of or different colors of ink. What I'm using today is Cantaloupe, Desert Sand, London Fog, and Sweet Plum. And I've taken a piece of cardstock. I've already cut this down for us. It was an 8.5 by 11 sheet that I cut in half. I took half of that sheet and then folded it to make the card. The other half that was remaining I cut in half so that it fits on top of the card, and that's all that we're going to need to work with today. So to begin, I'm going to die cut the single sheet of cardstock. I am going to be running it through my Cuttlebug, and this is going to be the front of the card. So I'm going to place the card here and then decide where I want my sentiment to be on here. You could place it down towards the bottom. You could turn it at a fun angle. It's entirely up to you, but this is the entire front of the card with the sentiment placed at the bottom. And that's how I've chosen to do my card. So I'm going to bring my Cuttlebug in, and I'm going to just die cut that piece. Now I have the magnetic mat on my Cuttlebug so that it will hold my die in place, and I'm just going to run this through the Cuttlebug and back again just to make sure that the whole thing is cut. And then I'm going to take that and set it aside, and we'll be using that in a moment. I don't want to remove any of the pieces from the cut die shape, so I'm just going to leave it all intact and in place until we need it later. Then I'm going to take my folded cardstock, and I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper to place underneath it. And this is the fun part. It can also be a little bit of a messy part. So what I'm going to do is, if you remember my die, I cut it from this position on my card. And so that is the area I want to focus my ink on. And so what I'm going to do is just take the ink and have a little fun with it. Just take it as it is and just kind of stamp randomly in that area a variety of different colors. And what you're trying to do here is just build up a pattern or a layer of color. Now you've noticed that I've saved the yellow to the last because I'm going to take that and use it to kind of fill in all of those areas. So I'm going back on top of everything with the yellow to kind of blend or fill in, if you will, those areas. So that might look like a mess at the moment, but that is definitely what I want for our card. I'm going to set that scrap piece away and then leave the card here in front of us. Now, this is super cute just the way it is, and I could put the sentiment, the cut sentiment on here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring our die cut back into play here, and I'm going to take the cardstock, and I'm just, because it's holding together well, I'm going to turn it over and put some adhesive on the back. And if yours comes apart, that's okay. But what I want is I want to keep the dot from the word, and We can easily put this in place afterwards if we need to. I'm going to keep the center here, the center here, and then the entire outer piece of the card. So once again, if those pieces come out while you are manipulating your paper, don't worry about it. We can work with that. So I'm going to just pick this up and place that whole thing right on the front of my cardstock, or my folded card. Alright, now what we want to remain is this white piece and all the little parts in the centers. Okay, so I'm just going to push those down and make sure they're in place. And then we're going to pick up the word and remove it. So you can see why I left it all in place, because I wanted those pieces to be where they were in the die cut. And so that's why I put glue behind them and to hold them in place. And I can see that I'm just fiddling with the little teeny part that goes in the E. And I can see that I made a bit of a mistake in that I put glue on the back of the dot for the I, and I don't want that, so I'm going to remove it. I'm just going to grab a craft pick to make it a little bit easier for me to pick it up. And that is our finished card. So you can see there that the color that we stamped shows through the piece. Now I also have the wording left that I pulled apart, and this can be used for another card. So if we were to do the same technique again, let me just show you quickly on a scrap piece here. I'm going to bring my scrap back in, and I'm going to stamp my colors again, just randomly across the bottom. As if this were a folded card. And then I'm going to use the light yellow, the cantaloupe, to fill in those spaces. Okay, so it's the same exact technique. And then I'm going to take my die cut, sticking to my fingers a bit here, and I'm just going to come in with my adhesive and follow through on the letters. And place that on top of that ink that I stamped on there. Just make sure I have it all in place. And then I need the dot for the eye. And place that there. If you need a little more adhesive, you can of course, tuck some under wherever you need it to hold the paper down into place. And there I have quickly made 2 cards that are similar using just the one technique. So let me know down below in the comments which one you like better. Do you like the one that has the die cut with the color showing through the die, or do you like the die cut on top of the color? I'm not sure which one I like the best, so I would love to know what your thoughts were on this project.